a teammate of Rick's. Also, Tim graduated in 1976. Tim Pierce. Tim was a member of the Blue Devils 1973 through 1975. And his team's record was 21-1, 3 league championships. The loss in 1975 and the tie in 1974 were both season openers with Little Falls. Tim played right halfback and was on punt and kickoff teams, and was the punt and kickoff returner as well. Tim lettered all 3 years. After the loss to Little Falls, Dolgeville went to play Carthage, a school 4 times the size of DCS, in what I will always believe to be one of the top 5 football games that I've ever watched at Dolgeville. And I think it was Coach Walzak's greatest coaching game in that decade. We came out with a victory by a score of 33-32 after trailing in the final minute of the game. In a 10-play, 60-yard drive with just 30 seconds remaining in the game, quarterback Doug Decar connected with a 15-yard pass in the corner of the end zone to Jim Camberdello to end the game and a win. Just as important in this monumental win was the contribution of Tim Pierce, who had rushed for 100 yards in that game. Now, with all league games to follow, Dolgeville went on to win its remaining 5 games, all by shutouts. DCS scored a total of 157 points in those 5 games and allowed none. Tim was a major part of our offense during his playing years and made numerous contributions to our victories. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Pierce.
A little nervous, don't do this much. I'll tell you, when I first received my letter in the mail from Stan, I was pretty excited. But I thought, boy, they sure as hell sent this to the wrong guy. I could think of 10 other teammates that I felt deserved it more than me. And but I remember a conversation I had with Tim Edwards. We sat one night after one of these meetings up at Dobbs having a beer, and we were talking about getting inducted, and I thought, you know, that'll never happen to me. And Tim said, you'd be surprised, one of these days you'll get inducted in this. And he explained to me that it wasn't all about being a superstar on the team. A lot had to do with the way you represented the team and, you know, what you'd done in life. And with that, here I am humbly accepting this. I thank you very much. Back in junior high, like a million years ago, I had to kind of make a conscious decision what I was going to do with my life in high school. I was basically one of those juvenile delinquents running around town causing all kinds of trouble. And sports wasn't in my family. I didn't have brothers who played football, and it wasn't a family tradition. So I kind of had to, like, again, make a conscious decision on what I was going to do. So a roommate of mine in high school, or back in college, we got telling stories about all the trouble I'd gotten into. And he says, you weren't a juvenile delinquent, you were what's called a Dolgeville. I'm like, never heard that before. I thought that was kind of funny. So I tried out for football, and it turned out to be probably the best decision of my life, to be honest with you. I really didn't know what to expect when it all started. If I remember right, the coaches took us out in the woods, ran us through the woods and trails all around the high school. And if I didn't know better, I'd swear they kicked the guys that ran into the trees for the football team and told the rest of them, you're baseball and basketball. The first thing I learned was I wasn't as good a shape as I thought I was. I used to run everywhere. I rode mini bikes, and I rode my bike everywhere. I thought I was in good shape. So I'll tell you, what doesn't prepare you, though, is to have to repeatedly run wind sprints up the side of a freaking hill with 20 pounds of crap on over and over again for what lovingly became known as hill charges. And I don't know who in the world builds a school on the side of a mountain, but we got stuck with one. So That got me into shape. I remember trying to go to bed at night the first week after practices and couldn't even get off the floor or watch TV at my parents' house. I was in so much pain. But that was my first experience. Beyond that, though, what really mattered more than anything, and I hear this over and over again, was all the positive things you get out of football, like hard work, dedication, teamwork, and friendship. The guys I played with, I still consider every one of them friends today, to this day. Every single player that was on my team, I still consider them all my friends. So with that, it prepared me for college, it prepared me for life. My wife likes to brag that it wasn't for her, I'd either be dead or in jail. But, and to her credit, she's probably right. But honestly, football did more for me than anything. It prepared me more for success in my life and everything that went forward with that. So I'm a shining example of what sports can do for you. So I'm trying to tell a few stories. One of my stories was going to be the Carthage game, because that was a highlight of my career, I can tell you. We went up to that. I remember we had an undefeated season a few seasons. My first year, actually, we had an undefeated season. It was so exciting. I don't think Dolgeville had one for a while, so for us, at the end of the season, it was a hard-fought season. We won 3 games, I think 7-6, and it was tough. We got jackets at the end of the season. The town was so into it. Our senior year came around, and we're thinking we'd love to repeat this again. And when the schedule first came out, we see this team on there called Carthage. We're like, go look it up, kind of find out they're a Class A powerhouse up north that's won their division every year. And we're like, what the hell is Coach doing to us? We want to win this game. We want to win every game. We don't want to go up there and lose. And then we pull up in front of that school that day, and I'll never forget, with our 2 measly little buses. We pull up in front of the school. It's the size of a university. It was twice as big as our school, and we get the sign on the front of the building that says 11th and 12th grade. Or you got it. So we're nervous. And as Stan said, though, it was one of my best games. I ran more yardage. As a right halfback, you don't hardly ever get to touch the ball, and to run as many yards as I did and score and win 33-32, that was awesome. But give Coach credit for that game. I can tell you, it prepared us for the rest of the season, because as Dan said, unfortunately we lost our first game in Little Falls. I don't remember how that happened, but the game we lost, they must have had a good team that year. But every game after that, we annihilated every other team. So I tell you, it was a good decision for Coach Walzak. We wouldn't have thought so at the time. Another big impact is my first football banquet. Certainly it wasn't because of the food or the atmosphere of the place we had. It was in the corner of the high school cafeteria. Nothing special, that's for sure. But what I do remember about it wasn't until years later. I was kind of excited to be there because I was going to get my first football letter, so I was excited about that. But I thought about it years later, and I went back to the guest speaker we had. There was a college coach that was there, and he brought some of his football players with him and sat at the front table and talked to us for whatever reason. And it was none other than Joe Paterno. He came to Dolgeville here to talk to us. And I to this day, don't know why he was here or how Coach got him here, but I'll tell you, that was a huge impression to look back at that all happened. If I had half a brain, I should have taken my Dolgeville football letter up to the front table and had him autograph it or anything, but I didn't. I don't know, to go on, I remember practicing hard all season. I remember having fun at the games. For some reason, I ended up in the Carlson Road every week after the game. I'll blame that on Rod. I keep dragging it there. We always had soda and chips, though. I hear they paved that road. There's people living on it now. That's just not right. But anyway, we practiced hard. We partied hard. But something another thing that was really cool left quite a lasting impression on me, and I think with statute of limitations, none of us can get in trouble anymore for this, especially you, Coach. Last game every season, we all excited. We always had a good season, so it was a lot of fun. And we'd be out partying and a handful of us each year, for whatever reason, got the right idea to stop by Coach's house. And he would have a party as well. He'd have his family there and a bunch of his friends, and we'd stop in and actually sit there with him, have a few beers, and talk about the season. And nothing more cool than I have a coach we had a lot of respect for that would you all go considered a friend. And I can't imagine everything like that went on today. Guaranteed we'd be on national television, and me for the right reason. I but besides that, I want to thank Coach Walzak for his dedication to our team, especially his style of coaching. I can't imagine what it's like to coach a bunch of adolescent boys without yelling all the time, but I tell you, I rarely remember him ever yelling at us. Don't get me wrong, he'd get pissed, but you knew he was pissed by just him. He'd just look at you. He'd get that look, or he'd go silent, and you knew you'd done something wrong. But I wish I could have duplicated that style in my life, and I tried, but you can ask my kids, they'll tell you that didn't happen. But anyways, again, thanks, Coach. Finally, I want to tell everyone here how proud I am to be part of this Dolgeville football program. I've lived in the Syracuse area for probably 25 years now, and I can't tell you how many times I've had a conversation with people, and they would ask where I'm from originally, and I start to tell them I'm from this small town down the thruway about an hour and a half, a place called Dolgeville, and they stop me and say, oh, I know Dolgeville, that's the place with that football dynasty. And I say, hell yeah, and I was part of that, very proud of that. So I'm proud to call Dolgeville my hometown. I'm proud to have played football here. And I'm very proud to have my family and friends here to be part of this induction into this Hall of Fame program. I couldn't ask to be associated with a better group of guys. I'm just thankful that it's not for being inducted into the Dolgeville Club. So, thank you very much.
Now, nobody ever went up on the Carlson Road.
Nobody's ever
Maybe 3 or 4.